Have you ever felt like everything is going wrong in your life? That the door you so desperately wanted to open simply closed in front of you? That the path that seemed perfect suddenly became impossible to follow? What if I told you that this isn't bad luck, it isn't punishment, it isn't abandonment, but rather the greatest proof of divine love and protection you could receive at this moment? Today I will reveal to you, Pisces native, 9 clear signs that God is closing doors in your life not to harm you, but to protect you from something you cannot yet see. Because you who were born under the most sensitive, intuitive, and spiritually connected sign of the zodiac need to understand a fundamental truth. Not every closed door is a rejection. Often it is a divine redirection. And do you know why this is especially important for you right now? Because Pisces carries a unique characteristic among all the signs. You feel everything with an intensity that others don't understand. You absorb energies, you pick up on intentions, you perceive things that are beyond the visible. And precisely for this reason, you can also be hurt more deeply when you enter places or situations that were not prepared to receive the purity of your soul. In this video, you will discover exactly what those 9 signs are that the universe is sending you right now. You will understand why that person distanced themselves, why that job didn't work out, why that relationship ended, why that project failed. And more than that, you will learn to identify when God is protecting you from a future that would be too painful for your sensitive heart. Because the truth is this: if you keep forcing open doors that God is closing, you'll end up in places that will drain your energy, steal your peace, and destroy your faith. So stay with me until the end, because each sign I'm going to reveal may be exactly the confirmation you've been waiting for, to finally let go of what's no longer meant for you and trust in the divine plan that's being prepared behind the scenes of your life. First sign. Inner peace disappears when you think about that path. Pay close attention to this first sign, because it is the most important of all, and the one that most people ignore out of sheer fear of accepting the truth. You know that situation, that person, that goal you so desire, but every time you think about it, every time you try to push it forward, you feel a restlessness in your chest? A tightness? An anxiety you can't explain? Well, that's not ordinary nervousness. That's not just your insecurity. That's the Holy Spirit alerting you that that door isn't for you. You need to understand something fundamental about your Piscean nature. God gave you a spiritual gift that very few people in the world possess: the ability to feel the truth before understanding it with your mind. While other signs need concrete proof, visible evidence, logical arguments, you already know deep in your soul when something is wrong. The problem is that you often ignore this profound knowing, because your mind tries to convince your heart that everything is fine. But look what happens when you insist on going through a door that God is closing to protect you. First, you lose sleep. You start having nightmares or waking up in the middle of the night with distressing thoughts about that situation. Second, you lose your appetite or start overeating to compensate for the anxiety. Third, you lose joy even in the things that always made you happy. Fourth, you lose patience with the people you love. You become irritable, distant, and strange. And lastly, you lose your connection with God, because deep down you know you are disobeying the divine guidance being sent through your intuition. Now listen carefully to this truth that will change your perspective. When something is truly from God for you, even if it's challenging, even if it's difficult, even if it requires effort and dedication, you will feel peace in the process. You may be afraid, you may feel insecure, you may have doubts, but deep in your soul there will be a peace that cannot be explained. A silent certainty that you are on the right path. A feeling that even in the storms you are protected. But when God is closing a door to protect you, the exact opposite happens. The more you try to open that door, the more peace you lose. The more you insist on that path, the more empty you feel inside. The more you force that situation, the further you move away from who you really are. And do you know why? Because on the other side of that door there is something that will deeply hurt you. It could be a betrayal you haven't yet discovered. It could be a toxic environment that will destroy your mental health. It could be a financial trap that will break your life. It could be a relationship that will destroy your self-esteem. It could be a project that will consume your best years without giving you any return. God, in His infinite wisdom and unconditional love for you, is sparing you a pain you are not able to bear right now. He is saying, no, my son, no, my daughter, not that door, not that path, not that person, not because you don't deserve it, but because I have prepared something much better for you, and I need you to trust me enough to let go of what is not yours. So if you're feeling this lack of peace, this constant anguish regarding some area of your life, stop insisting right now. Stop forcing it. Stop trying to convince yourself that everything is all right when your heart is screaming that it isn't. Because God loves you too much to let you enter a place that was prepared to destroy you. And even if it hurts now, even if it's hard to accept, even if it seems like you're losing something important, I guarantee you, you are being spared something much worse. Second sign. Obstacles multiply inexplicably. Now let's move on to the second sign. And this one is so clear that it's impossible to ignore when you finally open your eyes to see it. You know when you're trying to make something work and simply everything, absolutely everything starts to go wrong? It's not just one thing. It's not 2 setbacks. It's 5, 10, 15 obstacles in a row that appear out of nowhere, one after the other, as if the universe itself were conspiring against you. Know that this is not a conspiracy against you. It is protection for you. Because when God wants to close a door in your life to spare you from future suffering, He will not simply lock the door and throw away the key. No, He will place obstacles in your path to give you time to rethink, to reflect, to understand that perhaps that is not the right path for you at this moment. And look how interesting, these obstacles come from all sides. You try to schedule that meeting and the person cancels at the last minute. You reschedule and they get sick. You try again and something unexpected happens that makes it impossible. You're trying to close that deal and the document disappears. You get another one and the system crashes. You try again and the person responsible is on vacation. You want to buy that house and the paperwork just won't come through. When it finally does, the bank rejects the financing. When another bank approves it, a problem with the property's structure appears. Look, it's one thing to face normal challenges that are part of any journey. It's quite another when literally everything that can go wrong is going wrong, in a way that makes absolutely no logical sense. And do you know what the most common reaction is when this happens? They become even more stubborn. They think, no, now I'm going to prove that I'm capable. Now I'm going to overcome all these obstacles. Now I'm going to show that nothing will stop me. But there lies the great mistake, especially for you who are a Pisces. Because not every battle needs to be won. Not every door needs to be opened. Not every obstacle exists to be overcome. Some obstacles were placed in your path precisely to make you stop, breathe, and ask God, is this really what you want for me? Am I insisting on something that is not part of your plan for my life? And here's a truth that few dare to speak. When you finally give up trying to force that door that God is closing, when you finally let go of what isn't meant for you, the obstacles disappear as if by magic. Suddenly, other doors begin to open with an ease you never imagined possible. Suddenly, things start to flow, the right people start to appear, opportunities start to arise out of nowhere. This happens because you have finally aligned yourself with God's purpose in life. You stopped fighting against God and began walking with Him. You stopped relying on your own strength and began trusting in the infinite wisdom of the One who created you and knows exactly what you need at every stage of your journey. So pay attention. If you are facing obstacles that are multiplying inexplicably in some area of your life, stop seeing it as bad luck or a test of your persistence. Start seeing it for what it really is. A divine warning that that path was not prepared for you. A clear sign that God is protecting you from entering territory that would be destructive to your physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual well-being. Furthermore, begin to be grateful for these obstacles. Because every door that closes before you is sparing you from discovering, in the worst possible way, that that wasn't your place. Every plan that goes wrong is saving you from a future you can't see now, but which God, in His omniscience, has already seen would be harmful to you. If this message resonated with your zodiac sign, trust me, it's no coincidence. When the universe wants to speak to you, it sends exactly the right signal. And you're here because you needed to hear this today. Your contribution as a subscriber or member is what keeps these messages alive. Messages that touch, awaken, and transform lives. And if this video made sense to you, leave your birth date in the comments. Now let's continue with our video. Third sign. The right people start drifting away without explanation. Now we come to the third sign, and this one usually hurts more than all the others because it involves relationships, it involves people, it involves emotional bonds. And for you, a Pisces, a sign that deeply values human connections, that gives body and soul in relationships, that loves with an intensity that few can understand, this sign may seem like one of the worst things that could happen. But I need you to understand something very important. When God wants to protect you from a wrong path, He often begins by removing the people who would be by your side on that path. Because He knows that if those people remained in your life, you would have the strength and motivation to continue insisting on something that is not for you. So, in His infinite mercy, He allows those people to leave, creating a void that forces you to rethink your choices. And you know what's most interesting about this process? Most of the time, these people drift away for no apparent reason. There's no fighting, no arguing, no explicit conflict. Simply, little by little, contact diminishes. Messages become rarer. Dates are canceled. Intimacy is lost. And you're left not understanding what happened, what you did wrong, why that person who seemed so present suddenly disappeared from your life. The truth is, you did nothing wrong. What happened was a divine redirection. God needed to show you that you can't depend on those people to move forward on the path He has prepared for you. He needed to teach you that the presence of certain people in your life was keeping you trapped in an old version of yourself, in a reality that no longer serves your spiritual growth. But there's more. Often, the people who distance themselves are precisely those who would encourage you to go through a door that God is closing to protect you. You know that friend who always convinces you to do things that you know deep down aren't good for you? You know that person who pulls you into environments that drain your spiritual energy? You know that relationship that makes you doubt your own worth? Well, when these people start to distance themselves, it's not necessarily because they are bad, but because their presence in your life at this moment would be incompatible with the plan God has for you. And here's a detail you need to pay close attention to. At the same time that the wrong people are leaving, the right people are starting to appear. But this only happens when you stop chasing after those who are leaving. Because while you're spending your energy trying to hold on to those who want to go, you won't have the space or emotional availability to welcome those who are arriving. Do you understand how God works? He does close doors, yes, He does distance people, but He never truly leaves you alone. What He does is cleanse your life of influences that would prevent you from fulfilling your purpose, and then surround you with people who will support you, strengthen you, uplift you, and walk beside you in the right direction. So if you're going through a time when several people are drifting away from your life without a clear explanation, stop blaming yourself. Stop thinking you're the problem. Stop trying to force these people to stay. Because their departure isn't rejection, it's redirection. It's not abandonment, it's protection. It's not loss, it's preparation for something bigger to come. Furthermore, those people who left your life without making a scene, without creating drama, without intentionally hurting you, one day you will thank them for having the sensitivity to leave at the right time. Because their continued presence would have taken you to a place that wasn't yours. It would have kept you trapped in a version of your life that God is trying to help you overcome. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust God. Because while you feel the pain of separation from some people, He is already preparing much more meaningful encounters, much deeper connections, relationships much more aligned with who you really are and where you really need to go. Fourth sign. You receive warnings through dreams or strong intuitions. This fourth sign is especially powerful for you who were born under the sign of Pisces, because you have a connection with the spiritual world that is different from all the other signs of the zodiac. While others need external, visible, concrete signs, you receive divine messages in a much more subtle and profound way, through your dreams and your intuition. And here's something you urgently need to understand. When God wants to protect you from a dangerous path, He never leaves you without warning. Never. But the warnings He sends you don't necessarily come through audible words, street signs, or obvious coincidences. No. For you, a Pisces native, divine warnings arrive mainly during sleep, when your conscious mind is at rest and your soul is more open to receiving messages from the spiritual plane. How many times have you dreamt about something bad happening, and then days or weeks later it actually happened? How many times have you had a disturbing dream about a person, and then discovered something important about their character? How many times have you woken up in the middle of the night with absolute certainty about what you should or shouldn't do, even without any rational explanation for that feeling? This is not a coincidence. This is not imagination. This is not paranoia. This is the Holy Spirit alerting you. This is God showing you what lies behind appearances. This is the universe giving you information that you could not obtain in any other way, because it involves hidden intentions, future consequences, hidden truths that can only be revealed spiritually. But you know what the problem is? Most people ignore these warnings. They wake up disturbed from a bad dream and think, oh, it was just a nightmare, it doesn't mean anything. They feel a strong intuition that they should cancel that appointment and think, no, this is just my anxiety, I need to go anyway. They receive a clear signal through their heightened sensitivity, and decide to ignore it because the rational mind says it doesn't make sense. So what happens? They go through exactly the situation that the dream or intuition was trying to prevent. They fall into the trap they were warned against. They get hurt in a way that could have been completely avoided if they had only trusted the divine warning they received. So listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you. If you're having recurring dreams that make you uncomfortable about a specific person, situation, or decision, pay attention. If you're feeling that tightness in your chest, that weight in your stomach, that inner voice screaming that something isn't right, even if everything seems perfect on the surface, pay attention. If you're receiving signals through impossible coincidences, repeating numbers, phrases that several people say to you without planning it, pay attention. Because God is literally shouting at you through every available channel. Don't go that way. Not that door. Not that person. Not that decision. I am protecting you from something you can't see yet, but that I have already seen and know will do you great harm. And there's more. When you ignore these warnings and insist on moving forward, what happens? The warnings become stronger. The dreams become more disturbing. The intuition becomes more insistent. The feeling that something is wrong becomes so intense that it begins to affect your physical health. You start to have pains without medical explanation. You start to feel constant fatigue. You start to get sick frequently. Why? Because your body is trying to stop you in a way that your stubborn mind couldn't. So learn to listen. Learn to trust. Learn to respect these warnings you receive through your dreams and your intuition. Because God gave you this spiritual gift for a very specific reason, so that you could perceive invisible dangers, so that you could protect yourself from situations that have not yet fully manifested, so that you could avoid pain that others only discover when it is too late. And whenever you feel that strong intuition, that inexplicable certainty that something is wrong, remember this fundamental truth. Your intuition is not your enemy. It is your spiritual guardian. It is the channel through which God speaks directly to your soul. And when it warns you not to go through a door, you can be absolutely certain that on the other side of that door there is something that would deeply hurt your sensitive heart. Fifth sign. You feel an unexplained tiredness when thinking about that situation. Now let's talk about a sign that is extremely common, but that many people interpret completely wrong. And for you, Pisces, understanding this sign is crucial because it can literally save your physical, mental, and emotional health. I'm talking about that deep tiredness, that exhaustion that has no medical explanation, that fatigue that doesn't go away even with rest. You know when you're trying to move forward with a project, a relationship, any situation, and you just feel exhausted all the time? You wake up tired. You drag yourself through the day. You go to sleep exhausted. And the worst part, you're not doing anything to justify this extreme tiredness. You're not working more than usual. You're not overexercising. You don't have any diagnosed illness. But still, you're constantly lacking energy. Most people think it's just stress, or that it's a health problem, or that they need vitamins. And then they rush to the doctor, have 1,000 tests done, take supplements, change their diet. And none of that solves it because the problem isn't physical. The problem is spiritual. The problem is that you're spending an enormous amount of vital energy trying to force something that God is closing off to protect you. Let me explain how this works. When you're on the right path, when you're aligned with the divine purpose for your life, you may face great challenges, you may have difficult days, you may go through moments of intense effort, but you will still have the energy to continue. You will have motivation. You will have that inner fire that propels you forward, even when you are physically tired. But when you insist on going through a door that God is closing, when you are forcing something that is not meant for you, when you are investing in something that is not blessed, the opposite happens. You may be doing far less than you should be able to handle, but you still feel completely drained. Why? Because you are fighting against the divine will. You are swimming against the current. You are wasting precious energy trying to open a door that God Himself is holding closed on the other side. And there's more. This exhaustion isn't just physical. It's emotional too. It's mental. It's spiritual. You feel tired of thinking about that situation. You feel tired of talking about it. You feel tired of dealing with the same issues repeatedly. You even feel tired of trying to solve them. And do you know what that means? It means that your soul has already understood that it's not for you. But your mind is still resisting accepting that truth. For you, Pisces, this is especially dangerous because you have a natural tendency to give too much of yourself, to insist beyond reason, to believe that if you just try a little harder, If you just give it another chance, if you just endure a little longer, things will improve. But the truth is that when God is closing a door to protect you, no matter how much you insist, it will never flow. It will never get easy. It will never bring the peace and fulfillment you are seeking. And here's the ultimate test. Think of something that was truly meant for you, something that worked out in your life, something that you look back on today and are grateful for having happened. Remember what the process was like. Even if there were difficulties, even if it required effort, you didn't feel drained like that. You had the energy to fight. You had hope. You had that inner certainty that it was worthwhile. Now think about that current situation that's leaving you exhausted. Compare the two. Do you feel the difference? That difference is the clearest sign you could receive that God is telling you, stop, rest, let go of this. Let me take care of it for you. Let me show you another path where you will have energy, you will have joy, you will have abundant life. So if you're constantly feeling exhausted when dealing with a specific person, situation, or goal, stop fighting. Stop insisting. Stop thinking you need strength for everything. Because sometimes the greatest strength lies in recognizing when something isn't for you and having the courage to let go before it completely consumes your vital energy. God would never call you to something that would destroy you in the process. Never. If you are being destroyed physically, emotionally, or spiritually by something you are trying to achieve or maintain, that is not a divine calling. That is human stubbornness. And the only way to recover your energy, your joy, your vitality, is by letting go of what is draining you and trusting that God has something much better in store for you. Sixth sign. Better opportunities arise in the opposite direction. Here is one of the most interesting and yet most ignored signs that God is closing a door to protect you. Because often, while you are completely focused on trying to open that door that doesn't want to open, while you are investing all your energy in that path that is full of obstacles, suddenly other opportunities begin to appear. Opportunities you weren't even looking for. Opportunities in directions you hadn't even considered. Opportunities that seem to arise out of nowhere, as if someone were literally opening doors in front of you. And do you know what the most common reaction is when this happens? They ignore these new opportunities because they are obsessed with that door that is closed. They think, no, I can't get distracted now, I need to focus on my goal, I'm not going to give up. And then they let incredible chances pass by, providential encounters, paths that were prepared especially for them, all because they are blinded by the stubbornness of wanting something that is not for them. For those of you born under the sign of Pisces, this can be even more complicated because you have a deep loyalty to your choices, your dreams, and the people you love. You don't give up easily. You don't abandon easily. And that's a beautiful quality in most situations. But there's a huge difference between healthy loyalty and destructive stubbornness. There's a difference between persistence guided by God and insistence contrary to divine will. So listen carefully. When you're trying to go through a door and simultaneously several other doors start opening in different directions, that's not a coincidence. That's not a distraction. That's not a test of your persistence. That's God clearly showing you, look, my son, look, my daughter, that door is closed because it's not the right way. But I haven't left you without options. I'm literally showing you other paths. I'm opening doors you didn't even know existed. I'm giving you opportunities that are much better than what you're insisting on achieving. And here's the most impressive part. These new opportunities are often exactly what you needed, even if it's not exactly what you wanted, because God knows what you need much better than you do. He sees the big picture of your life while you can only see the present moment. He knows the future that awaits you while you are stuck in the expectations of the past. Let me give you an example to help you understand better. Imagine you're desperately trying to get back together with someone who ended a relationship. You try calling, the person doesn't answer. You send messages, they don't reply. You try casual dates, they avoid you. Everything indicates that door is closed. But at the same time, you start receiving invitations to events where new people meet. A friend wants to introduce you to someone. A coworker suggests a group outing. An opportunity to travel arises unexpectedly. A person stuck in stubbornness will ignore all these signs and continue trying to force the return of that relationship that ended. But the person who understands how God works will realize, wait a minute, while one door is closing in my face, several others are opening on their own. Perhaps God is trying to show me that that relationship ended because I need to be available to meet the right person. Perhaps He is protecting me from returning to something that would be destructive to me, and at the same time preparing me to receive something much better. And this doesn't just apply to relationships. It applies to jobs. It applies to projects. It applies to moving to a new city. It applies to any area of your life where you're clinging to something that isn't working while other possibilities are naturally arising. So pay attention. If you are struggling with all your might to open a door, and at the same time several other doors are opening in front of you, stop for a minute. Breathe. And honestly ask yourself, am I so focused on what I want that I am ignoring what God is offering me? Am I so stuck in my own plan that I can't see God's plan? Am I fighting against God's protection because I think I know better than He does what is good for me? Because the truth is this: when God closes one door, He always opens another. Always. But you will only see and take advantage of this new door if you stop knocking on the closed door. You will only receive the new if you let go of the old. You will only enter what God has prepared for you if you have the courage to leave behind what you yourself planned. Seventh sign. You receive similar advice from different people. This seventh sign is fascinating because it shows how God uses the people around us as instruments to warn us when we are going in the wrong direction. And for you, Pisces, paying attention to this sign can save you a lot of pain and regret, because you have a natural tendency to trust your intuition above all else. And sometimes this causes you to ignore external warnings that are clearly sent by the divine. You know when you're telling several different people about a situation in your life, at different times without planning anything, and they all basically give you the same advice? They all warn you about the same thing? They all express the same concern? They all suggest you rethink that decision? And the most interesting thing is, these people don't know each other, they haven't talked about you. They have no reason to be conspiring against you. When this happens, it's not a coincidence. It's God using multiple voices to give you the same message, because He knows that one voice alone might not be enough to make you stop and rethink. He knows you might dismiss advice as someone's personal opinion. But when 3, 4, 5 different people tell you essentially the same thing, it becomes much harder to ignore. And here's something you need to understand. The people who give you this advice aren't always the people you'd expect to hear from. Sometimes it's that friend who rarely comments on your life. Sometimes it's a distant relative who suddenly feels the need to tell you something. Sometimes it's even a stranger you just met who, without knowing your full story, says exactly what you needed to hear. For example, you're thinking about accepting that new job but you're unsure. You talk to your mother about it, and she says she has a bad feeling about it. Days later, you meet a friend who asks about your life, and when you mention the opportunity, he raises the exact same concerns your mother raised, unaware of your conversation. A week later, you're at an event, and someone who works in the field warns you about common problems in that type of environment. 3 different warnings from 3 different people at 3 different times, all pointing in the same direction. This is God telling you, listen son, listen daughter, I am trying to protect you. It's not just one person who is wrong. It's not just one isolated opinion. I am using several people to show you that you are about to go through a door that will harm you. But do you know what happens most of the time? People get annoyed by this advice. They think, why is everyone against me? Why doesn't anyone support me? Why is everyone being so negative? And then they completely shut themselves off from any outside opinion and decide to do the exact opposite of what everyone is suggesting, just to prove that they are independent, that they make their own decisions, that they don't need anyone's approval. And then months later, when things go wrong exactly as those people warned, the same person who ignored all the advice comes back and says, I should have listened. I received so many warnings. Why was I so stubborn? Why didn't I heed them? So don't make that mistake. When you realize you're receiving similar advice from different people, especially from people who truly love you and have no interest in harming you, stop and reflect seriously. Maybe you can't see what they're seeing. Maybe you're too emotionally involved to see clearly. Maybe you're so enamored with your plan that you're blind to the obvious problems that everyone around you is noticing. And here's a difficult but necessary truth. If everyone who knows you well and truly loves you is warning you about something, the chances of everyone else being wrong and only you being right are practically zero. It's not arrogance to admit this. It's not a lack of self-confidence. It's wisdom. It's humility. It's recognizing that sometimes we need an external perspective to see what's right in front of us, but that our emotions prevent us from seeing. So learn to differentiate between destructive opinions and protective advice. Destructive opinions come from people who want to belittle you, who are envious, who don't want to see you happy. You can and should ignore these opinions. But protective advice comes from people who gain nothing from you changing your mind, who only want what's best for you, who have nothing to gain by warning you except the peace of mind of knowing they tried to protect you. You need to take this advice very seriously. And when several of these protective pieces of advice come from different people, all pointing to the same thing, you can be absolutely certain God is speaking to you through them. He is closing that door in front of you while simultaneously giving you all the necessary warnings so that you don't hurt yourself trying to break down the door. 8th sign. Your values begin to be questioned in that environment. We now come to the 8th sign, and this one is especially important for you who were born under the sign of Pisces, because it touches on what is most sacred in your nature: your values, your principles, your spiritual integrity. When God is closing a door to protect you, one of the clearest signs is that you begin to realize that that environment, that situation, or that relationship is forcing you to compromise who you really are. Let me be very direct with you. If belonging somewhere requires you to stop being yourself, that place isn't for you. If maintaining a relationship requires you to hide your beliefs, your convictions, your deepest truths, that relationship isn't for you. If getting an opportunity requires you to do things that violate your conscience, that opportunity wasn't sent by God. And do you know how it starts? Subtly. First, it's the little things. You find yourself agreeing to conversations that make you uncomfortable just to avoid conflict. You laugh at jokes that go against your values just to fit in. You participate in situations that you know are wrong just because everyone else is doing it and you don't want to be different. You silence your inner voice that's screaming that it's not right. But then, little by little, the concessions become greater. You start doing things you previously swore you would never do. You start speaking in a way that isn't yours. You start acting in a way that, when you look in the mirror, you no longer recognize who is looking back. And the worst part, you justify all of this by telling yourself that it's necessary, that's how things work, that you need to adapt to survive. But here's the truth no one tells you. When you give up who you are to have something or someone, you lose both. You lose yourself and eventually you lose that for which you betrayed yourself. Because nothing built on the foundation of denying your essence can last. Nothing that demands you be fake can bring you true happiness. For you, Pisces, this is even more destructive because you have a deep connection to your spiritual nature. You are not someone who can live in contradiction with your essence for very long without becoming ill. When you are in environments that violate your values, your body begins to give signals. You start to have health problems. You begin to lose the sparkle in your eyes. You begin to feel an emptiness that nothing can fill. Why? Because your soul is suffering from being in a place that was not made for you. And here is the clearest sign of all. When you realize that to be in a certain place or with a certain person you need to dim your light, hide your gifts, silence your truth, repress your spirituality, you can be absolutely certain that God is closing that door. Because He would never, ever put you in a place where you would need to be less than what He created you to be. Think about it. If God gave you a deep spiritual sensitivity, why would He place you in an environment that ridicules spirituality? If God gave you a compassionate heart, why would He surround you with cruel people? If God gave you values of honesty and integrity, why would He put you in a situation that demands dishonesty? The answer is simple. He wouldn't put you there. What happened was that you, of your own free will, tried to enter a place that wasn't prepared for you. And now God is trying to get you out of there before that environment completely destroys who you are. So if you're in a relationship where you need to hide your beliefs, in a job where you need to violate your ethics, in a friendship where you need to pretend to be someone you're not, in an environment where you need to suppress your spiritual nature, listen carefully to what I'm going to tell you. Get out. Get out now. Get out before it's too late. Because preserving who you are is worth much more than any opportunity, relationship, or situation that requires you to betray yourself. And when you have the courage to leave those places that don't honor your essence, when you finally choose your values above everything else, you will see doors opening to places where you can be completely yourself. Places where your light doesn't threaten anyone. Places where your gifts are celebrated. Places where your truth is welcome. Places that were specifically prepared for someone exactly like you. 9th sign. You feel an inexplicable relief when you give up. And we finally arrive at the 9th and final sign, and this is perhaps the most revealing of all. It's the sign that definitively confirms that God was truly closing that door to protect you. I'm talking about that moment when you finally let go, finally give up, finally accept that it's not for you, and suddenly feel such a profound relief that you didn't even know you needed. Think about it. If something is truly meant for you, if it's truly part of God's plan for your life, giving it up should devastate you, right? You should feel an immense emptiness, unbearable sadness, deep regret. But when you finally stop fighting against a door that God is closing, when you finally accept the divine no, what you feel is the opposite. You feel as if a huge weight has been lifted from your shoulders. You feel as if you can breathe again. You feel a peace you haven't felt in a long time. And do you know why this happens? Because your body, your mind, and your soul already knew the truth you were refusing to accept. They already knew it wasn't good for you. They already knew you were hurting yourself by insisting. They already knew it was time to let go. But your stubbornness, your fear, your attachment wouldn't allow it. So when you finally let go, your whole being sighs with relief. It's like you've spent months holding a heavy stone, convinced you needed to carry it, and suddenly someone tells you, you can let go now. And when you let go, you realize your arms were aching, your shoulders were tense, your back was hunched, all because of that weight you didn't even need to be carrying. For you, Pisces, this relief is usually accompanied by a mental clarity you haven't had in a long time. Suddenly, you can think about other things. Suddenly, you regain energy for your hobbies, your passions, the people who really matter. Suddenly, you realize how much of your life was being consumed by that futile struggle against a closed door. And here's something interesting. Often right after you give up, you start to see signs that it really wasn't meant to be. Information you didn't have before begins to surface. Truths that were hidden begin to come to light. You discover things about that person, that situation, that opportunity that confirmed that God was protecting you from something harmful. It's as if the universe was waiting for you to let go so it could then show you why that wasn't meant for you. As if God were saying, see, I knew what I was doing. I was protecting you. Trust me next time. But something even more beautiful happens when you finally accept a closed door. Other doors begin to open with impressive speed. It's as if your energy, which was all concentrated on trying to open that wrong door, suddenly becomes available for the right doors. It's as if God was waiting for you to demonstrate trust in Him, so that He could release the blessings that were already prepared but couldn't arrive while you were clinging to what wasn't yours. So if you're struggling with something right now, if you're exhausted from trying to make something work that isn't flowing, if you're considering finally letting go but are afraid, let me tell you, try it. Just for a moment, let go. Accept that maybe it's not for you, and pay attention to how you feel. If you feel a deep relief, if you feel peace, if you feel like you can finally breathe again, that's the confirmation you needed. That's God telling you, yes, you can let go. I have something much better for you. And then you'll understand that that closed door wasn't rejection. It was redirection. It wasn't loss. It was protection. It wasn't the end. It was a new beginning disguised as a farewell. Because God never closes a door in your life without already having prepared a better one. He never takes something from your hands without already having something superior to put in its place. He never makes you let go of something you love without already having provided something you will love even more. Trust the process. Trust in time. Trust in God. Because He loves you too much to let you enter places that were prepared to destroy you. He protects you even from yourself, even from your own wrong choices, even from your own desires that are not good for you. And one day when you look back, you will be grateful for every door He closed in front of you, because you will realize that every no you received saved you from a yes that would have destroyed you. If this message resonated with your zodiac sign, trust me, it's no coincidence. When the universe wants to speak to you, it sends exactly the right signal, and you're here because you needed to hear this today. Your contribution as a subscriber or member is what keeps these messages alive, messages that touch, awaken, and transform lives. And if this video made sense to you, leave your birth date in the comments. So let's quickly recap everything we've discussed today. First, you learned that a lack of inner peace when you consider a certain path isn't your insecurity. It's God alerting you that it's not for you. Second, you discovered that obstacles multiplying inexplicably are clear signs of divine protection, not tests of persistence. Third, you understood that when the right people walk away without explanation, God is clearing your life of those who would prevent you from fulfilling your purpose. Fourth, you saw how warnings come through your dreams and strong intuitions, and how essential it is to learn to trust these spiritual signs. Fifth, you understood that that inexplicable tiredness is your soul telling you that you are forcing something that isn't yours. Sixth, you realized that when better opportunities arise in the opposite direction, it's God literally opening other doors while closing the one that isn't meant for you. Seventh, you learned to value receiving similar advice from different people, because that's God using multiple voices to convey the same message. Eighth, you understood that when your values begin to be questioned in a certain environment, it's a sign that that place wasn't made for someone like you. And ninth, you discovered that the relief you feel when you give up is the clearest confirmation that it really wasn't for you. Now I want you to do something. Think about that door you've been trying to open for so long. That situation you're insisting on making work. That person you're trying to keep in your life. That goal you've been pursuing for months or years. And now ask yourself honestly, how many of these 9 signs have you already identified in that situation? If you've identified at least 3 or 4 of these signs, I guarantee that God is closing that door to protect you. And the time has come for you to have the courage to stop fighting against God's will. The time has come for you to trust that He knows better than you what is good for your life. The time has come for you to let go of control and let Him guide you to where you truly need to be. Because look what awaits you on the other side of your obedience, on the other side of your trust, on the other side of your surrender to God's plans. There are much more genuine relationships waiting for you. There are opportunities much more aligned with who you are. There are much easier paths to walk. There are blessings far greater than you could imagine. There's a version of your life that's so much better than the one you're living now that you can't even visualize it yet. But none of this can reach you while your hands are busy holding on to what is not yours. None of this can manifest while all your energy is focused on trying to open doors that God is holding closed. None of this can happen while you are resisting the transformation process that God is trying to work in your life. So today, right now, I want you to make a decision. The decision to trust. The decision to let go. The decision to accept that if God is closing one door, it's because He already has another one open, waiting for you. And this decision doesn't need to be dramatic. It doesn't need to be announced to everyone. It doesn't need to be perfect. It can simply be a whisper in your heart. Okay, God, I trust in you. I let go of what isn't mine. I accept that you know better than I do what is good for me. And then you'll see the magic happen. You'll feel that relief we talked about. You'll feel that peace that surpasses all understanding. You'll feel as if you've been freed from a prison you built yourself. And very soon you'll start seeing the right doors opening before you. The right people coming into your life. The right opportunities appearing at the right time. Everything flowing in a way you've never experienced before. Because when you stop fighting against God and start walking with God, life becomes lighter. The days become brighter. The future becomes more promising. And you finally understand that those doors He closed were not punishments. They were protections. They were not rejections. They were redirections. They were not ends. They were new beginnings disguised as farewells. And before I say goodbye, I want to give you a challenge. A challenge that can completely change your life if you have the courage to accept it. For the next 7 days, pay attention to the signs the universe is sending you. Pay attention to that lack of peace. To those inexplicable obstacles. To those people distancing themselves. To those strong intuitions. To that unexplained tiredness. To those new opportunities arising. To those repeated pieces of advice. To those moments when your values are questioned. And to that relief when you consider giving up. And if, at the end of these 7 days, you clearly identify that God is closing a door in your life, I want you to have the courage to accept it. Have the courage to let go. Have the courage to trust that something better is coming. Because I promise you with all the certainty in my heart, that when you do this, your life will change in a way you can't even imagine possible. And if you've made it this far, to the end of this video, that's no coincidence either. It means you were ready to hear this message. It means the time has come for you to make different choices. It means God is calling you to a new level of trust, faith, and surrender to His plans for your life. So don't waste this moment. Don't ignore what you felt in your heart while watching this video. Don't put off something that needs to be done now, because spiritual opportunities like this don't come along every day. And when they do, we need the wisdom to recognize them and the courage to act. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. Because I'm going to continue bringing you messages like this, messages that touch your soul, that awaken your consciousness, that help you see the truth behind appearances. And leave your birth date in the comments so we can continue this spiritual connection between all of us who are part of this incredible community. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. There are thousands of people going through the exact same struggles as you. There are thousands of sensitive souls like yours trying to understand the divine signs. There are thousands of Pisces hearts seeking the courage to let go of what is not theirs and trust in what God has prepared. And together we grow stronger. Together we encourage each other. Together we walk towards the purpose that God has established for each of us. So go in peace. Go with faith. Go with the certainty that every closed door is one more step towards the right door. And that God's love for you is so great, so infinite, so unconditional, that He will never allow you to enter places that were prepared to destroy you. He loves you too much for that. And one day when you look back, you will be grateful for every no you received, because you will realize that each one saved you from a yes that would have ended you. Until the next video. And may God continue to bless your life, closing the wrong doors and opening the right ones in His perfect timing.